Okay, what's going on, Grand Rising? Today is Wednesday, the 19th, February 2025. And what we're looking at today is going to be the dollar index, the futures market, and a little bit of possibly the indices market. Now, in that indices trade, so our CFDs, right, we already long this position right here, right? Pre-New York with stop loss at the low. Also have trailing trades as well, so we'll go over those later. But I do like how they're bouncing. There is a little bit of divergence right here in this area on ES and NQ. So if you want to take a trade like that, you can't hesitate inside the demand, right? You've got to get that demand, have your LOD as risk, and then you're able to pay yourself or protect yourself at a structure break here. All right, so I think that's a really good one. Like I said, I'm watching it here closely, and I'm looking on that CFD to see if we're going to reach back above and be able to pay ourselves. So we got about 1 minute out. Make sure you went through your traders' constitutions, and set up your mental framework, and let's get this thing going. About 5 seconds. Also have QQQ and SPY up. So let's see what we get. They gapped down. So let's see here on SPY QQQ for the opens. All right. So anybody that's basically playing pre-New York, they're gonna shake them out, right? Especially if they just played. Like a lot of people will will play right there, right before the open, and then it just takes their money. Okay. So I'm watching this. I just want to see the 1 minute here. I've got the five over here, so I just want to be able to see it here. All right, I'm watching that ES. Not seeing any strength right there. Watching that ES 5 minute as well, right? Because if you don't see any strength inside that demand right there, they're going to push down to that left looking demand. Okay. Starting to break down a little bit here. Let's see. It's a nice little flush of CETO right there. Okay. So those areas that I have, I'm still watching this very tightly. So I'm going to show you guys the 1 minute here because I'm watching the 15 and 5 on another window. But if they flush this area, that's fine. I would like to see them go a little bit lower into the 21,150s possibly. Looks pretty weak as you guys can see, but we got to see what they're going to do. That 5 minute still holding is like a wick. Like I said, we gapped down over here. So new lows, right? New lows here. Let's continue to look a little bit lower. All right, so now we have a new LOD wanting to form. So here's something I've learned is I move that LOD. It gives me a little. That's a draw on liquidity. As I move that LOD because if I'm gonna buy it, it's gonna be my risk. So I just need to wait for that new LOD to set. Now we'll watch a little bit more of 1 minute here, just because I'm watching. I'm watching the 15 and 5 on another window. So matter of fact, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna keep that here, and then I'm gonna do five. All right, that way I can see that wickage along with that 1 hour play. So ES is still holding that area pretty good for the open, I would say. So it just depends on what they really want to do here. There's just a draw on liquidity here on NQ, which that's something I'm waiting on futures. I want to see that draw on liquidity first. So we still have a little bit looking left to get down to possibly of this range. So I wouldn't really see it as very like, legit trade unless I got a signal on a 5 minute to take it. But ES is making it difficult. I will say that. That looks really good on ES because you're hitting the demand. Does that make sense, right? Off that 1 hour looking left. So it looks good. You got a 5 minute engulfing, a pushback to the area. So it's like a favorable risk as well, like a 2 or 3 point risk. Let's see here. Hey, nice, hey, nice. Okay. So just kind of watching this area, watching ES. ES is looking strong. So it's like, can that 5 minute start to, was that just a draw on liquidity for them to turn up, or what is it going to be here? We'll see. Looking at ES, it's pretty promising. You know what I mean? But just like yesterday, if we can't get back above New York Open, then it's not going to push higher. But if NQ, I think, can go higher than here, like on a, oh, my computer is wilding out of there. On a 5 minute here, if we start to build up, the draw on liquidity can be nice, but you need to see, I'd say, a 5 minute break on technicals if it's going to go higher. Otherwise, it's just going to slide off. Nice, nice, nice. So they took that draw on liquidity from the pre-New York trades, and then that futures position might be presenting itself. Okay, starting to really watch that area. Looks good. All right, so all I want to see is this 5 minute close higher now, right? Because the 1 minute shifted in price delivery, so that's showing me signs of strength. But I need to see the five do it. I want to see the body closure here. That's going to give me the for sure signs. Now, my entry was a little late on the 1 minute demand, but this is kind of the area that I have here currently. And my goal is to see that 5 minute close above here, and then I'm going to start tracking this thing off. Okay. So let's see if that's what we get. Now, for me personally, I'm actually going to go ahead and start to cover some of that position because the entry wasn't inside the 1 minute demand exactly. Uh, so it's just up to the person. But I'm probably going to go, it's going to be in profit if I put 22,196, basically. So really watching that 5 minute, watching ES, right? And I'm looking for the next 2 minutes. All I want to see, guys, is that candle close above that area, and it's a wrap or Liddy. All right. So I want to see it close above there and then start to attack shorts. All right. So that's where my focus is right now, is just seeing it attack this area to about noon, because that's when that lunchtime when people get tired. So let's see if it can do that or not. ES still looking pretty strong, right? So that's a good sign. Now, if they can slip that ES liquidity, right, on that 5 minute and go above market open and print a 5 minute candle, great. If not, then that's where they're going to make a lower high and they fall, right? You guys seeing that how yesterday we're not getting that close? You got to be patient if you have the entry right at the draw, right? If you have the 5 minute demand, you have to be patient here, right? But that sign let me know to protect my position when I'm not going to get that cover or that push higher, just like yesterday. So now, if you had to close some of your position down in a situation like that, what you're doing, if you do it the right way, is you're making yourself available to take another trade, possibly, right? But for me, I'd put it to where, it would take me out for a small profit because that wick was pretty deathly. And the price looks exactly like yesterday's, to be honest. So, so for the XFA account, that account just was knocked for 330 bucks in profit, which is fine. I'm good with that. Mhm. Now, like I said, guys, I think we could make our way down. And so if we can make our way down, we'll look at 15 here. So I can be looking at, sorry. If we make our way down here, we'll see. But like I said, I don't see ES falling. You get what I'm saying? Like that's why like with these positions, I don't feel really like there's really a big issue. My computer's loading kind of slow though today and being weird. So that's another reason why I went ahead and put that just secured the bag on that other account first because it's like stagnant being weird. So I have, like I told you guys, the YouTube account, which that's the one we trade, and then I have my other equity building account too. So if you wanted to, like I said, you could be still playing on CFD. I've trailed my risk up on some of my remainders, and then I'm just still watching this area here. I think we're still going to get the push because of ES. All right, even though they did the draw on liquidity, right? Divergence essentially. Um, I still think that this is going to make its way, right? And I'll show you guys why. Is the 1 minute area looks really good, right? As a demand candle plus a sign of strength, right? So most people are going to sell as it falls here, and we buy inside of there, And even if it does go lower, like I said, it's the fact that ES isn't showing any signs of weakness to me, going into um, this first 15-minute close, right? So not seeing any signs of weakness right now. And if we get these 5 minute closures higher, it'd be great. But this over here might be definitely. Let's look at 5 minute here. Just trying to make sure it switched. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Okay, good. That's like, brother. We got quite a ways to go to get down here. So if I take a CFD position, guys, I'm going to take it down here. Just because of the fact that like I've already secured a small profit on that futures was maybe I was wrong in the area, and so if it does scoot down to the next demand, great. But it's just very difficult to say that when you have ES about to close 5 minutes above that New York Open. So really got to watch here. Take a look at dollar here really fast too. Dollar pretty good. So like on ES, if you don't get this 5 minute close now above New York Open, it's going to be a lower high and it's going to fall, right? It'll fall to the demand. And because the effort's so small and the location of the area, it's just less likely. You've got also NQ kind of absorbing people. Let's look at that 1 hour. Now we are inside the 1 hour area that I like to be. So that's why I said too, you kind of have to wait, I would say on NQ for that 5 minute to set, right? It's got to set, it's got to flush, and you need the flush candle to take the trade, All right. So that's what we'll focus on is seeing that flush candle. And it looks like Tay, they're respecting that 15-minute 50% of that wick on that 1 hour. What do you think? So let me know. We looked at that area of that this. It kind of looks like they're respecting that 15-minute candle, but let's see. Okay, I'm watching 5-minute price over here, but we're gonna have to watch 15 right here for my window's sake. Now you see, guys, what's keeping me confident more in a position like this with that 1 minute entry, even though it's already kind of closed lower, is if it's like say you had the NQ entry, then if you keep seeing this ES grab, it's going to be good, but it just takes time. But you just have to understand, like I said, that you could push down to here, but now we're starting to see the volume, but we haven't seen anything break in the right areas on ES, so it makes sense for me to see this. Let me watch TradeLocker here really quick. Okay. Not really seeing any. You guys see how it's forming on ES, right? This is where my eyes are glued, okay? My eyes are glued to that right there on that 5 minute. The formation is forming, you know what I mean? What I really like about ES compared to NQ today is the retracement on the day as well, right? So you have, I'm not saying these won't go lower. I'm just kind of saying I like the retracement of this area being like almost a 71% inside demand. So you just don't have a 5 minute flush of Cito candle on NQ yet. And you guys see NQ starting to fail that 15.5 to push down to the 22,150 demand. The difference is with ES is we've already reached it, right? So we'll see. But when you look left on a 1 hour as well, we're right inside the areas where people are going to make the decision. I think that's wrong. Um, Looks like good ES price, right? I think this is really going to be a good video for ES. Now let me see here on my trade lockers, making sure I have that one too. SPX. Sheesh. So, one thing I like about TradeLocker is, you definitely can get pretty good fills on these trades. So, 2607. And yeah, guys, I'm gonna start playing, even though these go lower, which I think they are going to. Um, but I'm gonna start playing some more ES trades, but I'll start calling them out to you guys on SPX 500 on TradeLocker. I may take some on futures eventually, but right now I'd rather just take them just like on TradeLocker or something. Nice capitulation. So you guys see how they're gonna capitulate down to the areas they really want to, which makes complete sense. Okay, so this is the area I'm going to be looking for. I may take, like I said, a CFD trade once we get in here, but I really like previous day lows, y'all, too. And the way that they're failing all the demands across the board is pretty interesting. So he said, what right here? We'll see the 6107s. Okay. All right. Cool. So if you guys have those 5 minute areas, right, they still haven't broke that low, right? That LOD. All right. They did a run on liquidity inside finally when this area gets tapped, right? Our demand area that we're looking for. So now once it gets to these areas, you can wait for that 5 minute right side of the V, or you can start to look on that small time frame price action to see if you can see it. But to me right now, based on the location of the trades, right, on the 1 hour, 4 hour, stuff like that, the likelihood of them going higher now, they would have already, like line graph would have already made that new high and you would have been up. You know what I mean? So let me write this down. There was a draw on liquidity at 851, which was fire. Thank you. Okay. So they're really starting to play that area. You got a 5 minute dump and a 1 minute mitigation kind of forming over there on NQ. Okay. And remember, guys, the price could take a while to get to the area, and then that second half of the day, you got to remember we have second half of the day we have that FOMC, right? So don't get bodied trying to make something happen, you know. Now, me personally, I love NQ, so I'm always gonna play setups like this. Like down to the five, you have a 5 minute, you have a 15 minute wick, 5 minute dump, and then you have a 1 minute mitigation. So me personally, I like to take some trades like this inside the demand, putting my risk here, and then protecting myself on the first technical break. So that's up to you, you know. But it's only because of, when I look at the response and individuals probably selling at the wrong end of the range, that's what makes me, want to see a response in this type of area. Taking a look at like I said, the 1 minute again, it looks really clean. It's like you've got your dump, you can identify the right side by the second candle, putting your risk at either this low or this low. And then like I said, you're looking for a technical break higher than just this area. All right. Nothing too crazy, 22 195s. All right. And so if you guys have that access to the CFD, right? Trade locker, stuff like that. We took our original one before, and then I took a draw, the one that has the draw on liquidity here. So our new LOD is actually here. And so you'll notice that when you take a trade, every time you take a trade on buy side for me, if it's going to be a good response, it's usually inside the LOD as my risk, right? If my risk isn't LOD, then most likely I'm not going to win. Now, see, guys, how I said you have to be patient. You have to trust these areas because they haven't still broken the 5 minute structure yet on that ES trade. Okay, so it's about seeing divergences and seeing the draws on liquidity. Let me make sure I'm not on my account. Okay, sure. Try to jib jab me here. All right, so like I said, looks pretty good, guys. If you guys took that on CFD, especially if it comes to NAS 100, and I would say that if you got out of ES today, it's because you manually took yourself out. You're not respecting the 5 minute rules. So you're playing what you can see, most likely, right? When price was coming down here, you said, "Well, I'm just going to lose a trade anyway. I might as well make a little bit." Blow. Right. So write down your thought process too. I'm not saying it's going to go higher either. I'm just saying the thought process. All right. Good 5 minute extension candle. Now you don't want to see any more weakness if it's going to continue. So with ES not breaking lower and that 5 minute shift in price delivery on NQ, right? If ES extends up to a 6,137, starts to attack this lower high at market open, chances it could go. But right now, as it's printing, it's still very undecided. You guys see how ES is responding, dude? They're so dirty. I've got some ES on TradeLocker, guys, in that 5 minute push down. I put I put a dub on it, but it was like a 4 point risk, so it's like $100 risk, right? A little less. Nothing too crazy. Let's see if it works out though. Now, me personally, I was gonna say this too on those TradeLocker accounts, guys. I would have an account set up for each amount of capital, right? So like I would have, if you're gonna trade ES, like for me personally, right? I would set aside a certain amount of capital. That way on TradeZella, you can track your statistics with trading that instrument. So that's what I personally do, especially with TradeZella, because I mean, you literally just input the data from the synced data or whatever manual CSV file, and then you're good. So pushing into that demand, still kind of looking. I like how YM right now too. I know Tate's probably still on here, but I like how YM's wicking away from the 1 hour wick candle, which was that 15 minute dump. Right. So we've seen it as a wick, right? And my mentor taught me, basically to measure 50% of that wick, right, from open to close. I'm not saying it's not going to go lower. I'm just kind of saying the area to kind of gauge and to see where that 50% mark is. And now you're starting to see it kind of test away from there. So seeing that as well inside this demand candle on YM is interesting because if they start to really rally here, they might actually go for those previous day lows. You see how the candles are having a hard time at New York Open, guys, printing the bullish structure. So it looks like we're going to possibly still move down. NQ, 5 minute candle is really going to shift the shit out of people right here. So it just depends on how they're going to play it. You know what I mean? But those 15-minute areas just look like they want to still kind of push. So we might have to, on those CFDs, there might be a 5 minute flush wanting to load if this area fails on the 5 minute. Especially if ES starts to break the 6,132s, 130s, then you're really going to see it fall into the 15-minute demand. But people are going to make the worst decisions at the highs or the lows. So I like that ES price right there, guys. And so, if you're playing off of the candle we talked about, my risk was at the LOD, right? So for a 2.5 point risk, so $20 would be a $40 risk. Now, if that price goes back above daily, right, and it goes about, let's just say 12 points, that'd be what, every 10 would be 200, right? So it's not bad. It's like a 1 to 10, essentially. I like the 1 minute price on NQ2, guys. Just how it's looking inside the demand right now, right? That's a good sign to me that with ES still printing the way it is, that if you're long in these positions, that your LOD is okay. Okay. Potentially. I'm not saying it's not going to fall because it's obviously could fall. It just has a higher chance with that, but that 1 minute looked like shit on NQ. So the one that's really performing the best today to me is this ES, just because it's giving you 15-minute response. It's giving you the 5 minute area, but it's just you're not getting the push through technical yet. I would say any more closures below New York Open as well. It's clearly showing it's going to fall. Um, so we'll see. Lows look really weak there, guys. Boom, it reached for him, right? So that's pretty much it. I don't have any positions on. I ended my futures position kind of early. And then the CFD ones that I have left, let's see. The CFD ones that I have left are going to be the short, which is really small volume, but still pretty cool, right? And I have that on MD because there's no swap. Now, when you look at the higher time frame, right, we came up, we failed to ever make that new structure break, and now we're starting to topple over, right? So that short might end up working out. And then the buys that I still have that I've trailed the risk up to are pretty much getting ready to get hit for their expected value. All right. So from those 410 entries that I showed you guys or I posted, all the risk was moved up to like here. And then we set this low right here yesterday, and I was wanting to see if we were going to make that, pierce higher. And because we didn't, this candle is becoming more of a reference point for me. And trailing your risk either to here or here makes a lot of sense if it's going to, if you have those swing trades, right, from like last week. But as you can see it, I mean, it is starting to, break down that 4 hour. And when you start to look at the 1 hour, right, you can see the lower, that low, the lower high, and then the top lower. So that is what it is. Which one is this? Sorry. Okay. So they just took that LOD. So that makes complete sense, guys. Now the question will be as they approach, right, the previous day lows, as they approach the previous day lows, people will make decisions as it keeps retracing into the area. So with the timing being only 9 o'clock, um, I'm going to be watching that area just to see if there's something I can maybe CFD. But if not, then I'll just let those shorts continue to push out these areas. But futures, like I said, I closed a small position there quickly for today. And so now when we look at our higher time frames here too, it looks really good, right? For the previous day lows, 1 hour sweeps potential, right? If they continue to push down. Definitely going to be locked in on the CFDs, guys, because once liquidity gets captured in these areas, it's going to be fast moves for sure. So remember, guys, when there's a draw on liquidity, that's when you want to focus on the 5 minute candle. Okay, start to see the signal after a draw, 5 minute liquidity, then maybe you start to see it. But I would wait until you get about a little bit more down on this candle here. When there's a draw on liquidity, though, be alert. But like I would be waiting to about 50% of this candle here, the 78.6 retracement, to see potential the best buy that you're gonna get. And same thing with this over here. We're in the area of the best buy that you could possibly take today, with that previous day low being a risk. So it's just let's lock in, just watch this area, honestly. Mhm. What I like about this candle, like I said, it's a 5 minute dump candle that takes out traders inside the right location, right? That's 71% retracement. So now, if you get that, I would say closure above this area, this LOD becomes a good risk, and you have a framework candle to play, right? You have a stacking candle to play. But always be alert when there's a draw on liquidity, or if your liquidity gets drawn, because that's a sign that they're probably getting ready to shift it the way you want it. Good. Capitulation out. Now, as you guys can see, right, 15 minute, we're way farther down, right, into the area of chasing that previous day low than we are on ES, right? So if this one draws on liquidity on previous day lows, right, that's going to be the really good sign, right? Because like I told you guys on those swing trades, I personally, what I have done on a lot of my trade, because I think that this sell could be the top for a little while. I've trailed a lot of my risk up to this area. So if it hits this area, you're going to see looking left that demand candle either be respected or them just destroy down to 21,800. All right. But we're not out of the woods on this type of setup yet, to me. All right. Really got to see how ES wants to respond. Taking a look at QQQ and SPY here really quick. They're kind of just they're falling over on the 15. All right. So they're looking more bearish after the push up. Let's see if we can get some people to make bad decisions right here. And then YM looks perfect from the area we talked about, so that we could start seeing some more downside if you're starting to see a lot more strength on YM. But it's like those areas, guys, you can't make up the 50% of the wick area here, right? On that 1 hour was basically that 15-minute, 50% area. So I would say if you took an entry lower and you had 5 minute strength, you'd probably be already break even on something like that. And I would say one of the biggest things I like to try to do, guys, is on those CFDs is take a good amount of volume, price moves in my favor, and I start to cut it down. But that volume can't be too big of, what your predetermined probability risk is. But no 5 minute strength here, right? So I'm just continuously watching 5 minute candles open and close bear. So if we don't see anything by like 9:15, I'll go ahead and process the stream for today because like I said, I already closed my futures position. Um, and we'll just continue to hunt for some CFD till about 10:15 or 11:15. Reach for those. Really good response there off that 44.4 on US 30 right now. And I bet you Instagram influencers sold down into the demand candle. So it's just like if you're seeing that type of stuff happen at the same time, that's like perfect. Okay, so on that CFD, guys, I actually really like it right now, personally. And I was loading up, my bad, so I was being quiet. But on that 1 minute, it looks pretty good, potentially, right? After that draw too. So there's times where you can get into these markets, guys, with these certain moves and price shifts above 22,150, like on CFD. Let me show the actual price. And you're able to, position yourself to win, right? Everybody wants this low to be taken, right? So we shall see. Now, something I just learned some cool things about TradeLocker is like if you take a $10 position, you don't have to close down a full $10 position. You can actually just have it close. Wow, that's really cool. So I can trail my stop. Like I say, if I have a $20 position on NQ, I can trail my risk uh based off $10. So if it goes in my favor like a lot, I can trail that risk up. That's really cool. That's really cool. So I'm gonna watch 5 minute here. Futures price, they're not gonna read the same, but they're gonna be relatively the same. So just wanted to see what happened here. What's the higher ones? Nice, nice, nice. So stacked in there, right? On the CFDs, so I'm gonna bring up the CFD data real quick so I can plot these. Look at the location, guys. 71% retracement, demand, ES, right? Entry is here on there. So this is a CFD entry, guys, not a futures entry. Nice. All right. And basically it was a 1 minute inversion play inside that looking left demand candle potential. Right. So if the 5 minute can give volume here, and if they can just erase all these people on ES, I'd say up to here, right? These double tops, that's where my mind is at right now, right? Based on where, because if someone's selling and I plotted this right now, and they see this response, I've seen it so many times that you know what I mean? I just know that somebody sold down here at that break, which was crazy work. Dude, I'm stacked on this, man. On TradeLocker across. So these rally guys, I'm probably done for the week. I'm probably gonna chill. I mean, we got the payout about to drop, then we got the CFD. I'm gonna pay myself my goals every 2 weeks on here. So it's just, I mean, we can't ask for much more, guys. Okay. So I sent you guys in the mastermind like my CFD entries, so you guys see what I'm pretty much working with there. And then my goal is to, since I have it in two positions, 5 and 5, which makes 10. My goal is to be able to give back some of that up here and stay break even on the remainder of one of them, right? And we're getting that beautiful price action that we like to see on ES right here. So, it would take a lot for me to see. We need to get above 22 130s for me to really be like, this might actually work. But if we can push 22 107s on the highest entry, I'll go break even, and the other one I'll accept the risk. And remember, we have a massive buy already, and then we have shorts from yesterday on that same area, that same account. Sorry, so we can take the risk, baby. Now, if we do see that ES, pierce above that market open 6,139s, 138s area, and we start to get above these 120s here on CFD NAS 100. and we start to attack that New York Open entry, which it's not marked on here because I wasn't playing this at first. So if we start to attack New York Open shorts, then that'll be it for me today. Because like I said, I've already finished on futures pretty quickly. Just wasn't I wasn't as confident today on there, and so to I just wanted to make sure and pull that profit. I only needed that last day, um, so just to secure that. Now we can focus on swing trades and trade locker the rest of the week. I like that 5 minute close on ES, right? And the 15-minute response right now. So it's just like what I'm thinking, right, is if this is going to go higher, the only way for it to happen is short's got to cover, right? And the way that when you guys say, oh, you look at a high in the morning and you're like, oh, that's a shitty high, like we were talking about all earlier, of course they're going to push away from it first before they go to it. They're not going to just give it out. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's see here. Okay, good. Nice. All I want from these positions potentially is to get an expansion candle up to this area on a 5 minute because then it's going to give me a top end of the imbalance potentially to trail risk on. And if not, then I just have to accept the risk. So the top one just hit BE. The other one that has the stop loss at LOD. And if they flush that, like I said, I'll just let our shorts continue to rally. I think they look pretty good there. We'll see. It looks like absorption on that 5 minute on ES, so that's what really makes me think that they might do it. But let me pull the highest one here. Okay, it already did it. Cool. So make sure it did its thing. So now you guys see, okay, sorry, I didn't move this. This is now your new LOD. So your risk is always going to be in alignment with that, right? And so if you took that trade or in that area, your risk would be LOD. Now the other thing is what you're trying to see is prices wick away. Why is it doing that? You're wanting to see prices wick away from the last down candle, all right? So if you can see price by, let's just say 12, all right, 12 noon here, 12:15, because that's the macro. If you can see price hold this area, same thing over here, right, inside this candle, and go higher technically, then that's a good trade. So you don't want to be too focused on that 1 minute. Now I am watching a 1 minute, right? I am understanding that I'm getting mitigation potential, but I still need the 5 minute to close outside of its area to really show me it's going to go or if it's going to fall. It looks pretty bearish from the 21,250s, 22 one or whatever that price is on CFD here. Really just want to see how they're going to respond in this area, right? You also have a major half level right below this, right, which is that 22,050. All right, so I like how that 1 minute price looks right here. Right, you're starting to get that sign off that demand. So if you can get that shift in price delivery above 22,096, right, then it makes sense on a 5 minute to see it come out of the demand and start to push up into the supply 22,120s, 118, whatever that is, right? And then NQ, this is obviously playing the way it should. All right, let's go. Now it's shifted, right? This looks like shit to me, and this looks a lot better, right? When you're looking at a 5 and a 1 minute to play it, right? Because you had, shift in price delivery, you had pullbacks to the 1 minute 50% candle where you could use LOD as your risk. All right. Even if it falls, your positioning is gonna be key, you know? And we'll keep this thing. I'm gonna keep the recording side going just till 9:30, and then I'll end the recording and then hop back on just because I wanna let the New York session part record. Make sure it gets done. So with them having trouble here on that same 090 level, they're gonna have to break out of this box basically on a 5 minute for me. If they're gonna go higher, right? If not, then they're gonna continue to push lower. But I feel like shorts are gonna cover on ES. Stacked on that bad boy. Let's go. Tay is my first W's on the TradeLocker. Mhm. Okay, so looking at that price as we're starting to get out of that box, right? That's what you want to see on a 5 minute. You want to see the closer, the body closer. Come on, shorts at market open on ES. Start to cover. Let's see what Top Step's doing really quick. It's just like yesterday when you're looking at actual futures price. You really want to focus on half levels and whole levels, right? Price is having a very difficult time getting over the 22,150 level. So same thing here, guys. You're wanting to see if you're on that futures data, you're wanting to see that 5 minute candle potential right here. If you guys are watching the recording, it's not an institutional candle. I'm just using the color. But you're looking for the same thing, right? You're looking for that body of this area to be respected going into 1215, and you're wanting to see closures above this level because you see they've come here and they've respected it and they can't go higher. Same thing with this one. So I love to see that 5 minute closure higher attacking into the supply, basically across the board. Where's TS at? What are they doing? 25 on I just want those shorts on ES to have to cover so quick, right? Because that position I told you guys, if you're factoring into those two, as soon as it covers that 5 minute area, I can cover and make a bag. You get what I'm saying? So that looks really good on that NQ trade, I believe, right? And then you have your 1 minute price looking pretty good, right? So you're looking for that shift in price delivery above these double tops, 22,156. And you're really looking for that 5 minute candle to give you something up to here. Okay, so your LOD is actually here now. And then your supply candle and then the people's risk is in that 22,180s. So if we get above here, guys, like I said, I'll probably go ahead and secure down the stream, and then we'll all chop it up about our swing positions. So looks like we're getting what we want to get um, based off technicals here. So we'll leave it at that for right now. Pretty good session. Let me look at the dollar here really quick. And yeah, kind of still in that same area on daily. So with that being said, for the recording side, we'll be back again on Friday to trade live futures. And with that, have a good rest of your day. Give me 1 second, guys.